Hi everyone, it's Jessica, and today I'm excited to help Mel W. Scrapping celebrate reaching the awesome milestone of 500 subscribers on YouTube. Now, for her celebratory hop, she requested that we scrap lift one of her projects and possibly use a little bit of mixed media in our layout. Honestly, I forgot about that part until I was totally done with my project, so I'm really bummed about that because I do love some good mixed media. But I'll show you in just a minute the layout that I decided to scrap lift from her. I did modify it just a little bit to suit what I've got here. I'm going to do a 4x6 photo just like she did. I'm using my daughter playing soccer here, and I thought the color of her shirt worked really well with these new papers from Close to My Heart that I've been dying to play with. This is the Hello Darling paper collection, and I'm going to use some of the stickers too. So I've gone ahead and cut those, and then I am going to mat my layout on a piece of sapphire cardstock. So I've gone ahead and cut everything according to her directions. She used a couple of more pieces of paper actually than I'm going to use, but you'll see why I decided to leave some of those extra pieces out. So the basic layout goes a little something like this. We've got a 10x3, a 9x5, and then this last piece here is 10x6. And she had a couple more horizontal layers going through there, but I wanted to save that space off to the right of my photo for this title that I cut out on my Cricut. Now, Mel did use a tag up here in this spot, and I thought that that was really cute, so I wanted to recreate that as well. So I also have stamped a soccer ball from a stamp set that I have, and then I just found this little blue piece in my bowl of leftover die cuts, and I thought that the colors kind of worked well, and I'm going to try to use that piece as well. So like I said, I did prepare a few things, cutting those tags out and stamping my soccer ball. And now what I need to do before I put anything down is to just distress the edge of my papers. I like to do this with my ink pad, and I'm using sapphire ink just to hit all of the edges of my papers here before I adhere them down. Now, because I am going to mat this, I'm cutting a 1/2 inch strip off of of two sides of my white daisy cardstock. And you'll see later, I do use those 2 1/2 inch strips in my layout. So watch to see how I try to make the most and be kind of thrifty with my supplies here. All right, and then speaking of being thrifty, I don't need to waste all of this sapphire cardstock in the mat because it's just sitting in the middle, right, and not getting used. So one of my favorite tricks is to gut the inside out. So I'm giving it a 3/4 inch border all the way around, and I'll just keep spinning it and watching where my blade goes and stopping, 3/4 of an inch from the end. And then I end up with this big square that I can still save and use on another project. So I'm going to go ahead and get this stuck down together, and then you can see that it's going to just have that really thin 1/8 of an inch mat there. So as a little trick, sometimes when you do get that paper out, it gets to be a little flimsy and hard to work with. One way that I like to adhere the two pieces together is just to use a couple of pieces of washi tape to hold that frame down to my Versamat. Because like I said, now that it's cut out, it's a little flimsy and it can be kind of hard to work with. Then I just go around with my tape adhesive and I put a little stick, making sure not to get it into the part that won't be covered. And then I can use my Versamat to make sure I've got everything centered and square, and go ahead and attach that piece of white daisy down to the front. And I have found that to be the easiest way to do that little trick. Now, this title here did come from the Art Booking Cricut collection, and I just cut it out with my Cricut 3 times in some white cardstock. I really wanted to have a little bit of dimension. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time gluing all 3 together, and then I will put it underneath something heavy, and that way that my title can dry while I am putting the rest of my layout together. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start putting those pieces down using Mel's layout as a guide, and I'm just kind of layering these things here. I think I might scooch this plaid paper down just a little bit and not center it. I want to see some more of that floral paper up on top because I think it is so pretty. And then I'll kind of play around with exactly where my title is going to go over to the side. But I do know that I want to put the tags up there in the top, just like she had. Although I think Mel had only 1 tag. When I was done cutting the first one, I still had a little scrap of cardstock left. So I flipped it over and cut a second one just in the same piece of paper, but on the lighter shade of the color, just to add a little bit of difference there. And so I think I'm going to do something a little bit like this. I just want to make sure I like it before I start gluing anything down, and maybe like slide my photo down. I don't know. I kind of move it up, down, up, down. I'm not really sure. It didn't quite fit centered in the middle of that one piece, but okay. So I'm going to use my Versamat and my T-square ruler to get everything down here. And I was just checking the dimensions again to make sure that I had it centered on the page. I love this floral piece from this collection. It is so pretty. This paper collection is really kind of meant to be like a 4th of July type of paper collection, but obviously I'm not using it that way. This is just a picture of my daughter. She has been playing this spring in a little local soccer league, and it's just been a quick league, about a month and a half long, and this is the only picture that I have gotten so far, and her last game is this weekend. So I thought this would be a perfect layout to use just for the one photo that I do happen to have. And like I said, the color of her shirt kind of worked well with some of the colors in these pattern papers. Okay, so I'm thinking that maybe I will take that little extra die cut that I had just sitting in my stash. I'm going to trim it down carefully because it's too long as it is. I was trying to make sure that when I did that trimming that my cut looked okay, and it looks like it does. That looks natural. And I'm just going to use it as like a base for my title, so my title has something to sit on. And then it did take me a little while to figure out what to do with my soccer ball. I also wasn't sure about using it just because I don't really have any other black in this layout, and I didn't know if the soccer ball would be distracting that way. But I think it ends up working out okay because, her shirt has some black writing on it, and she's got black shorts. Or no, she doesn't have black shorts on. She has pink shorts on. But I think it ends up working. So I did take a file tool and kind of edge distressed those tags a little bit. And then off camera, I stuck some ribbon and some twine through them to tie them off and finish them. And then I'm going to create a second cluster down here in the bottom corner of my photo, and that's going to end up being the final home for that soccer ball. But I thought that I needed to bring the red and the green down just a little bit because otherwise those tags were going to be the only place that I had that sage green color, with the exception of the grass in the photo. So that's why I thought, well, I'll put the flower down here because then I can use the leaves from the sticker sheet as well. And that'll kind of help to bring that color over and help make a nice little cluster with that soccer ball. So the flowers, the leaves, that little blue sticker, all of those come from the sticker sheet. And then, like I said, I'm going to be thrifty here. So I had that 1/2 inch strip of white cardstock that I had cut off of my base page. And rather than using foam tape, I'm just going to cut it into some little pieces, and I'm going to glue, I want to say 3 of them. So it'll end up being like 3 pieces of cardstock backed up behind the soccer ball. And I just thought that that was a fun way to add a little bit of dimension without, digging into my foam tape stash, because I don't know about you guys, but I love foam tape and I go through it like crazy. So I've been trying lately to use these little scrap pieces of paper and just kind of be a little bit more frugal with my use of foam tape where I can. And then I'll go ahead and put this sticker over the top. It says, "Love this," and I do. It's so fun. She has just been getting into soccer in the last 9 months, and she's a natural. You would think she would have been playing since she was a little toddler, but she's just really kind of picked it up, and it has become a sport that she has loved. So that's a lot of fun. All right, I'm going to kind of take a look here. I see a couple more stickers up here that I might want to use. Again, thinking about that red color, so I'm going to take some of the tiny red flower stickers and put them up here by the tags, just so that way I kind of have like a diagonal going across the page between the flower in the bottom corner, her shirt, and then those flowers up in the top. So not quite so much a visual triangle, although I guess maybe if you include the title, but more so of a diagonal. Okay, and then I felt like those tags, even though I had done a little bit of edge distressing to them, I felt like they still needed a little something. So I did pull out my white gel pen. You could see I was like a little unsure about what to do here before I finally went for it. And on this tag here to the left, I'm going to add some stitching marks. And then on the other one, I just did a doodle, straight line doodle, all the way around the edge of it. So I'll kind of fix my little bows there. And on Mel's original layout, she did talk about how she was challenged to use some like ribbon or twine or trim. So I made sure to include that in the top of my tags as well. So you can see the close-ups here. This was a fun one to put together, and it was pretty quick and easy, and I love the way that it came out. So thank you, Mel, for the inspiration, and congratulations to you for reaching that awesome milestone on YouTube. That is quite the accomplishment. There are a couple of other crafters who are playing along helping Mel to celebrate, so make sure you check out the links in the description box down below. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. Have a great day. Happy crafting. Bye.